Good morning to all. This hearing of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee will come to order. We are here to consider important ambassadorial nominees: William Duncan to be ambassador to El Salvador, Hugo Rodriguez to be ambassador to Nicaragua, Candace Bond to be ambassador to Trinidad and Tobago, Heidi Fulton to be ambassador to Uruguay, and Robert Fouche. Did I get that right, Robert? That's correct. Robert Fouche to be ambassador to Suriname. I want to congratulate all of you on your nominations and provide thanks to you and for your willingness to serve, and thanks especially to members of your family, because you can't do one of these posts without them sacrificing. I will first introduce the nominees, then I'll offer opening remarks and turn to Ranking Member Rubio for opening remarks, and then we'll have opening statements from each of the nominees before proceeding to questions. Introductions. William Duncan is Senior Inspector in the Office of the Inspector General at the Department of State. Previously served as Consul General in Monterey, and before that as DCM at the U.S. Embassy in Mexico City. Foreign Service Officer since 1992. Happy 20th anniversary. He also served in Asunción, Madrid, Baghdad, Mexico City, Bogota, San Salvador, and Matamoros. A native of Louisiana, Mr. Duncan has a bachelor's degree and a Juris Doctor from the University of Arkansas and is fluent in Spanish. Hugo Rodriguez Jr. is a senior advisor in the Bureau of Western Hemisphere Affairs at State. He most recently served as Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for Western Hemispheres, focused on Central America and Mexico. Previously, Mr. Rodriguez served as the DCM at the U.S. Embassy in Asunción, Paraguay, and as Consul General at the U.S. Embassy in Mexico City. Other overseas assignments include Lima, Peru, Rome, Italy. He's a native of Pennsylvania, but to my liking, he holds an MBA from the Darden School of Business at the University of Virginia and a bachelor's degree from Hampton-Sydney College. He's fluent in Italian and Spanish. Candace Bond currently serves as the president and CEO of AESA Inc., a Los Angeles-based real estate and community development business advisory services company. She's also a board member of California Head Start, the chair-elect of the board of the Greater LA Education Foundation, and chair of the MLK Health and Wellness Community Development Corporation. She served on the board of the LA County Office of Education, the nation's largest regional educational agency. Ms. Bond also serves on the California State Treasurer's Housing, Economic Development, Jobs, and Opportunity Zone Committee. She graduated with both a bachelor's degree and an MBA from Harvard. Heidi Fulton is the Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for Western Hemisphere Programs in the Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement. She previously served as the Director of the Office of Mexican Affairs, led the U.S. Embassy in Honduras as DCM and Chargé d'Affaires. She served overseas in Kabul, Quito, Phnom Penh, and Manila, and is a former Pearson Fellow, which is a prestigious fellowship of members of the State Department and Senate offices, where she had the fortune to serve in the office of Senator Menendez. Ms. Fulton was also an active duty Army officer as a quartermaster with the U.S. Army in Virginia, Germany, Luxembourg, Netherlands, and Italy. She retired from the U.S. Army Reserve in June of 20 after 28 years of service. She's born in Buffalo, graduate of Boston College and Troy State University, and is fluent in Spanish. Finally, Robert Fouche most recently served as the Principal Deputy Assistant Secretary for the Bureau of Conflict and Stabilization Operations. Prior, he was Director of the Office of Western European Affairs in the Bureau of European and Eurasian Affairs, and has held positions in the offices of UN Political Affairs and UN Specialized and Technical Agencies in the Bureau of International Organizational Affairs. Fouche has served as the DCM at U.S. embassies in Belgium, Ireland, Suriname, and Luxembourg. He grew up in Arizona, holds degrees from Arizona State University, Edinburgh University, and the National War College, and he's fluent in Dutch and French. Very, very talented panel. So my remarks: I want to congratulate all of you on the nominations. Representing the U.S. and the American people in any capacity is an honor. To represent with the title of ambassador is a true distinction. And I'm sure based on each of your impressive professional backgrounds, you will serve with real distinction in these roles. I'm pleased to chair the nomination hearing for these 5 important posts throughout the Western Hemisphere: El Salvador, Nicaragua, Trinidad and Tobago, Uruguay, and Suriname. I always talk about the importance of this region to the United States. Not only do we share deep and important cultural historical and economic ties, but we also have interests in addressing the shared challenges together with countries throughout the region. Having our best team in the field is absolutely critical to advancing those interests as well as our values in the Western Hemisphere. Our relations with Salvador are fragile. We've watched with growing concern as El Salvador's government has taken an increasingly authoritarian turn after a somewhat promising beginning with a government that was not connected with sort of past challenges in El Salvador. Having an ambassador in place to advance values and interests in El Salvador and continue our support for the Salvadoran people will be critical. In Nicaragua, the Ortega regime sham elections last year, including the imprisoning of many presidential candidates, and they're intensifying attacks against opposition figures or other critics, including religious leaders. The order connected with Mother Teresa just got kicked out of Nicaragua by President Ortega. These are significant concerns. We need to continue pressing for the restoration of democratic rights in Nicaragua and work with regional and international partners to support the Nicaraguan people in finding a way forward. So, Mr. Rodriguez, you'll have your work cut out for you, and we look forward to hearing about your approach in Managua should you be confirmed. In the Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago share a commitment to democracy. They've remained a steadfast partner of the United States in the Caribbean. We have strong cultural ties, a vibrant diaspora community in the United States, and this August, Trinidad and Tobago will be celebrating 60 years of independence. Having a confirmed ambassador will send an important signal reaffirming our partnership with Trinidad and Tobago, and in particular, I will ask questions in this regard with respect to the ability of Trinidad and Tobago to be a force for energy security in a world where there is significant energy insecurity. Uruguay is considered one of the strongest democracies in the world, and that fact deserves a lot more recognition in Washington and elsewhere. Uruguay seeks greater cooperation with the U.S. My view is that we should support that cooperation, and I look forward to hearing from Ms. Fulton about how we can strengthen ties with this very important partner. Finally, Suriname's 2020 election of President Santokhi offers the potential to a new chapter in U.S. relations with Suriname following President Bouterse's decades-long rule, which included his and his son's separate convictions as drug traffickers and his own conviction for the 1982 December murders in Suriname. Suriname, like Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana, also offer prospects for advancing energy security in the world, and I would like to direct questions to Mr. Fouche about how we can work on that. So we look forward to hearing from each of you today. I look forward to working with you, and now I'm proud to introduce the ranking member, Senator Rubio, who has been such a strong champion for U.S. relations in the Americas. I'm very glad we have a chance to work together. So.